So today I'm going to be presenting my speech. Different doesn't mean weird. One time I had an idea for a drawing, but the idea was unusual compared to my other drawings. I was splashing color, pouring all my emotions onto the canvas and filling my thoughts until the canvas was full and no space to continue. Then I stepped back and started admiring at my creation. What's even more beautiful, that it's different. It felt new, and it felt something that only I could create. But then, when it was the time for my mom to see my artwork, she was surprised, because she wasn't expecting that I would draw that. But I understand why she reacted this way. Because when people think something weird, they usually think it's not what they usually see. And that poses a question. Is being different weird? To me, art is not only about the beauty. It's about the message and the emotion the person is trying to express. The point of art is not just a person grabbing a pencil or a paintbrush and start adding color and scenes in the canvas. Art is another way of communication without words. It shows how the person feels, sees, think, and even show their true selves. And most artists create unusual art to express ideas, evoke emotion, explore new ways of seeing the world. And some artists do unusual art techniques because they want to be more original. For example, Pablo Picasso, who loved mixing art styles such as realism, abstract, and cubism. And because he loved trying new things and got inspired by many different cultures and artworks. And you can totally see how he mixes those styles. And what's so interesting, that doesn't it makes you want to analyze his work and think, what is he trying to say or show? Or let's give it another example. Salvador Dali, who also loved mixing art styles, from classical masters such as Vermeer and Velázquez to futurism and cubism movements, to create his dream-like drawings. And what's also so interesting, that it truly looks like it's from his dreams. And it almost feels nostalgic to me. It reminds me of something, but even when I can't explain what. And you know what? At first, people didn't understand artists like them. Some of them even laughed. But now, their artwork are remembered because it was different, bold, and unforgettable. And that's exactly why artists don't stick with one art style. And they even find about new things about themselves while they create. So you can see these techniques help artists to communicate. They'll help artists to express their feelings and show their true selves. And as we grow, our thinking and seeing the world changes. And it's difficult to stick with one art style. Well, I'm not saying that you can't have one art style for your whole life. But what I'm trying to say is that when learning an art, you need to be experienced at other techniques. At least at the basics, such as drawing, painting, sculpting, and even art history. And over time, you will at least be experienced at many different techniques, and maybe try new and unusual techniques. And you will try to find the one that represents who you really are. And coming back from being different. It doesn't only apply in art. It also happens in real life. Because often people judge how people think differently, dress differently, see differently. But I believe there's nothing to be ashamed of. I think it's something to be proud of. So I'll ask you again, is being different weird? Being different is just being yourself. Being yourself is more memorable and valuable, being used like a signature you engrave in someone's head and heart. So, next time, when someone calls your drawing weird or abnormal, it doesn't mean that it's weird. Maybe they see it differently, maybe they think it differently, or maybe it's just evidence that people see the world differently. Thank you.